King crab, one of the rare and valuable seafood species, lives mainly in cold seas such as the Bering Sea. Off the coast of Alaska and Russia, king crab fishing is an extremely arduous and dangerous job, requiring courage, skills and specialized equipment. The king crab fishing season usually begins in the fall and lasts for a short period of time. In order to protect aquatic resources and ensure ecological sustainability, fishermen use large fishing boats, equipped with GPS, radar and hydraulic cranes to lower heavy traps to the seabed. Each trap, called a pot, is made of sturdy steel, with bait such as herring inside to attract crabs to enter. After a few days of releasing the cages, the crew will use a winch to pull each one up and classify the crabs. Only mature male crabs that meet size standards will be kept, while female and baby crabs will be released back into the sea to protect the breeding source. Each trip can last for weeks, amid freezing weather and rough seas. Making king crab fishing one of the most dangerous occupations in the world. However, the high economic value of this species of crab makes many people defy the danger to make a living. Fishing not only demonstrates the courage and ingenuity of fishermen, but also reflects the close relationship between humans and the nature of the sea. After catching the required number of crabs, the crew will quickly preserve them in temperature-controlled cold seawater tanks to keep the crabs alive and fresh until they reach port. Some modern ships are also equipped with water filtration and oxygenation systems to ensure the best living conditions for the crabs during the long journey at sea. Upon returning to land, king crabs are transferred to purchasing or processing facilities, then distributed to domestic and international markets, weighing up to 10 kilograms each. King crabs are not only highly nutritious but are also considered a luxury dish in many high-end restaurants. However, due to increasing demand, overfishing has caused a decline in the number of crabs in the wild. Therefore, many countries such as the US and Russia have applied strict management measures, such as regulations on minimum size, fishing seasons, limits on the number of vessels and legal fishing licenses. In addition, the technology of raising king crabs in artificial environments is also being researched to reduce the pressure of exploitation from the wild. In general, the process of catching king crabs not only requires physical and technical effort, but is also a clear demonstration that humans are constantly learning how to exploit natural resources in a smarter and more sustainable way. In addition to technical factors and legal regulations, ensuring safety during king crab fishing also plays an extremely important role. Each trip often lasts for many days in the cold sea, where the weather can change suddenly with snowstorms, strong winds and large waves up to several meters high. Therefore, fishermen must be thoroughly trained in survival skills, using rescue equipment and handling emergency situations at sea. Modern fishing vessels are equipped with life jackets, lifeboats, satellite communication systems and emergency positioning to minimize damage when an incident occurs. However, there are still many tragic accidents every year, making king crab fishing one of the most dangerous professions in the world. In addition, the mental and physical factors of the crew are also very important. They have to work continuously for hours in cold conditions, lack of sleep and high pressure to keep up with the fishing schedule in the short time allowed by the season. It is these hardships that make each king crab that reaches consumers not just a dish, but also a valuable result of the sweat, effort and silent sacrifice of those working in the sea. In the context of climate change and depletion of marine resources, raising public awareness of marine ecology protection and sustainable consumption is extremely necessary in order to preserve king crab resources for future generations. Not stopping at the stage of catching and preserving, the value chain of king crab continues to expand through processing and commercialization. At modern processing facilities, king crabs are professionally processed to ensure food hygiene and safety as well as preserve their characteristic flavor. Some are kept alive to serve the high-end market, while others are steamed, frozen or separated from the meat, packaged with legs and claws to serve export needs. King crab products are often consumed in luxury restaurants, five-star hotels or large supermarket chains around the world at very high prices, especially in countries such as Japan, Korea, China and the US. This not only brings in large revenues for fishermen and seafood exporters but also contributes to promoting local economic development, especially in coastal areas of the North Pacific. On the other hand, the popularity and high commercial value of king crab also pose new challenges such as illegal fishing, cross-border seafood smuggling and commercial fraud in origin. To prevent this, many countries have promoted international cooperation in inspection. Traceability and application of electronic labels to manage king crab from exploitation to consumption. At the same time, community education programs and communication campaigns on ocean protection and responsible consumption have also been strongly implemented. All these efforts show that king crab is not only a high-class seafood but also a symbol of the balance between marine economic development and natural resource conservation. The sustainability in the chain of exploitation, processing, consumption of king crab is a measure of the level of civilization and responsibility of humans towards their living environment in the future. King crab exploitation is expected to be more closely linked to sustainable development models and green technology. Research institutes and conservation organizations are actively testing new methods such as applying artificial intelligence to predict crab populations, using environmentally friendly trap nets to minimize impacts on other species, or deploying automatic monitoring systems to track fishing vessel activities in real time. In addition, raising king crab in artificial conditions, although still in the experimental stage, is also a potential direction, promising to help reduce pressure on wild crab resources and open up opportunities for the development of high-tech aquaculture. Educating the younger generation about the awareness of protecting marine resources and the labor value behind each seafood product is also of increasing concern. Through documentaries, photo books, field trips to seaports or fishing experience models, the image of fishermen catching king crabs has become a vivid symbol, inspiring the spirit of resilience, ingenuity and love for the ocean. King crabs are not only the crystallization of harsh nature but also the result of courage, solidarity and persistent labor of humans. Therefore, every time enjoying a dish made from king crab, consumers not only feel the rich sweetness of crab meat but also taste a part of the story of the ocean, of people, and of the arduous journey behind each, surfing the waves to go out to sea. It is a never-ending journey between humans and nature, a relationship that requires respect, preservation and harmonious development in every step of the future. From the real-life stories of fishermen to the global importance of the king crab industry, it can be seen that this is not only an economic activity but also a part of the cultural identity of northern coastal communities. In many places such as Alaska or Kamchatka, Russia, the king crab fishing season is considered a major event, associated with customs, festivals and traditional pride. Many families have had many generations living on the sea, passing on valuable experiences from their ancestors such as how to choose bait, locate crab streams, read waves, read wind. These values not only contribute to preserving the cultural heritage of the sea but also create a strong spirit and fortitude in the face of fierce nature. In the context of international integration, king crab products are also a bridge to bring the image of people and the land where they are exploited to the world. Famous seafood brands have used the image of king crab as a symbol of quality, sophistication and traditional values combined with modern technology. Many high-end restaurants in the world have been inspired by king crab fishing to create unique dishes, both preserving the original identity of the seafood and bringing contemporary culinary features, thereby enhancing the value of this type of crab in the international market. Finally, it can be affirmed that king crab is not only a rare aquatic species but also a clear demonstration of the combination of humans, nature and science and technology in a complex and valuable value chain. The existence and sustainable development of the king crab fishing industry is a measure of human awareness, responsibility and adaptability to the challenges of the times, especially in the field of resource exploitation and marine environmental protection. Therefore, each successfully caught king crab is not only the result of skill and labor, but also a living symbol of the harmony between human intelligence and the power of nature with its increasingly important role in the global seafood industry. King crabs also contribute to promoting scientific research activities on deep-sea ecosystems. Fishing for this species often takes place at depths of hundreds of meters below the surface, where humans have little access. So each trip to sea not only has commercial value but also opens up opportunities to collect valuable data for oceanographic research. Scientists can take advantage of this opportunity to survey the habitat, seawater temperature, geological structure of the seabed, as well as record the presence of other species in the same ecosystem. This information is of great significance for the conservation of marine biodiversity and assessing the impact of climate change on cold seas. Moreover, the success of the king crab fishing industry is also a driving force for many countries to invest in upgrading seaport infrastructure, developing modern fishing fleets, expanding cold logistics systems, preserving and transporting high-quality seafood. These improvements not only serve the king crab but also have a positive impact on the entire seafood industry, creating jobs for thousands of workers in logistics, processing and export. In particular, in coastal areas where the economy depends heavily on the sea, king crab fishing has been playing a role as a pillar of sustainable development, helping to keep people in their homeland and build stable, prosperous communities. Looking back at the entire process from exploitation, preservation, processing to commercialization, king crab emerges not only as a valuable specialty but also as a symbol connecting people with the deep ocean. Each step forward in the crab fishing industry reflects the progress of science, the perseverance of people, and the aspirations of coastal communities. Preserving and sustainably developing the king crab fishing industry is contributing to protecting an important part of the marine culture, the source of life and the common blue planet that we share. In addition to the economic and scientific benefits, the journey of being attached to the king crab fishing industry also carries profound human values. The fishermen who drift every day in the ocean not only earn a living but also shoulder the responsibility of preserving their ancestors' traditions and silently contributing to the global supply chain. During the week-long trips, they have to live and work in cramped spaces, face fierce waves, bitter cold and many lurking dangers. But they are still not discouraged. The camaraderie among the crew, the bond between people and the sea, and the resilience to overcome difficulties are the lasting values that help them overcome hardships. Many inspirational stories have been told by the people in this profession, those who have saved each other in storms, those who consider the sea their second home, and those who take pride in each crab that is caught legally, following the correct procedures and professional ethics. These stories not only enrich the fishing culture but also arouse the respect and gratitude of society for seemingly simple but challenging jobs. The king crab, with all the values hidden behind its thorny appearance and giant size, is a symbol of perseverance, of the constant efforts to conquer nature in harmony. Continuing to invest in developing safe fishing technology, educating the community about the conservation of aquatic resources, and honoring the people who are working day and night in the sea will be an important premise for the king crab to forever maintain its special position in the hearts of consumers and on the world seafood map. This is not only the direction of the present, but also a commitment to a future where people live in harmony with the ocean, both exploiting and protecting, learning and being grateful in the constantly developing flow of the modern world. The king crab fishing industry is also gradually changing, adapting to the increasingly strict requirements of the international market and the trend of sustainable consumption. Today's consumers are not only interested in product quality, but also pay attention to the origin. Exploitation methods and environmental impact. This forces exploitation and processing units to comply with international standards such as MSC, Marine Stewardship Council, Sustainable Fishing Certification, or HACCP, Food Safety Control Standards. Achieving these certifications not only helps increase export value, but also contributes to affirming the brand and reputation of the national seafood industry in the global market. In addition, many community initiatives have been formed to connect fishermen together, share experiences, knowledge and solutions to cope with climate change, resource scarcity or risks of natural disasters at sea, modern fisheries training programs, support for livelihood conversion when necessary, or organizing production consumption linkages between fishermen and businesses, are increasingly showing positive effects. These models not only help people feel secure in sticking to the sea, but also contribute to improving their capacity for autonomy, creativity and integration into the global marine economy. From a creature living in the cold, deep sea, the king crab has become a comprehensive symbol of the relationship between labor, technology, nature, culture. Each crab brought up from the seabed not only represents material value, but also carries the depth of sacrifice, knowledge and sustainable vision. It is a journey in which people not only exploit nature, but also learn to listen to and preserve it. And it is in this silent dialogue between people and the sea, between the past and the future, that the king crab fishery will continue to exist, not only as an economic activity, but as a living story of harmony and long-term development. In the overall picture of the world's marine economy, king crab has been affirming its position as one of the high-class aquatic species, having a profound influence on many fields such as trade, science, culture and even maritime politics. In some territories, especially those with large king crab reserves such as the Bering Sea or the coastal areas of the Kamchatka Peninsula, disputes over king crab exploitation rights have become a hot topic in international negotiations, forcing countries to cooperate more closely in dividing fishing grounds, protecting sovereignty over islands and jointly managing common resources. This shows that even a single species of crab can become a factor that affects the balance of interest between countries when its demand and economic value are increasing. In addition, the trend of sea tourism combined with the experience of catching king crabs is also developing in some countries such as Norway or Alaska, where tourists can follow fishermen out to sea, directly participate in pulling cages, observe the crab catching process and enjoy fresh crab dishes right on the boat. This unique type of tourism not only brings additional economic benefits to the local community, but also helps raise tourists' awareness of the true value behind each seafood meal, a value that is exchanged for sweat, intelligence and attachment to the ocean. These experiences leave a deep impression and contribute to creating a generation of consumers who are more knowledgeable. Respectful and responsible for the marine environment. Thus, the journey of catching king crab is no longer limited to the framework of traditional fishing but has reached far, becoming a multi-dimensional symbol of the modern marine economy. In the context of the world moving towards green development and circular economy, continuing to invest, innovate and sustainably protect the king crab fishing industry will contribute significantly to the common development goals of humanity. It is not only a way to preserve a precious resource, but also a way to preserve gratitude for the ocean, the place that has fed, challenged and inspired many generations of people. The sustainable development of the king crab fishing industry is not only a challenge for countries but also a shared responsibility of the global community. International organizations, especially the United Nations and environmental protection organizations, have called on countries to coordinate to establish strict policies and regulations to ensure that exploitation does not exceed the regeneration capacity of the king crab.